So you have finally spent all that time filming your B-roll, with tripods perfectly positioned and artistic close-ups captured, only to end up staring at a cluttered hard drive wondering what the next step in the process should actually be. Today, I'm going to walk you through my personal process for editing B-roll into my videos, showing you exactly how I layer it over my main A-roll to craft a compelling story that keeps viewers hooked from start to finish. We will cover how to time your cuts perfectly to music and share some professional tricks that can make even the most basic static tripod shot footage feel truly cinematic and intentional. I want to give you a quick fair warning that I will mention a few specific software tools along the way that might help streamline your workflow. You can absolutely do a ton of this work for free inside a tool like DaVinci Resolve, and later on I will show you how a platform like Vizard can take some of the heavy lifting off your plate. This is especially helpful if you want to take long-form content and turn it into ready-to-post clips without spending hours manually hunting for all your highlights. First things first, let's establish some definitions so we are on the same page. B-roll is the essential supporting footage, like the cutaways and small visual details, that helps your story feel real and grounded. A roll, on the other hand, is your main story, which is usually the talking head or interview footage where you are directly delivering your message to the audience. For my channel, the A-roll is the part where you see me talking directly to the camera, while everything else that illustrates those words is considered B-roll. That said, these definitions can get a bit fuzzy because sometimes a clip that looks like B-roll is actually the main subject depending on your specific narrative. If the whole point of a scene is to show me making coffee, then that coffee making footage effectively becomes your A-roll. However, if I am narrating a story about my afternoon caffeine ritual and overlay footage of me just reaching for a mug, that is classic B-roll. For the purpose of this video, whenever I say B-roll, I am referring to those supplemental clips that sit on top of your main talking head footage. Okay, before we even touch any B-roll, you need to get your primary A-roll onto your timeline. My workflow in DaVinci Resolve is very simple. I find the main talking head clip, right-click, and create a new timeline specifically from that file. Then I use the audio waveform to trim out all the unnecessary pauses. If you are new to waveforms, remember that flat lines indicate silence, while the big spikes represent the loud speaking parts. I skim for the flat bits where I was not speaking, which is usually just me checking my notes, and I blade those out. You simply play through and cut as you go. You will be quite surprised at how fast you can tighten a talking head segment once you start to trust your ears. Now let's get to adding the B-roll. Organization is absolutely everything here. When I shoot, I already sort clips into folders by scene, like intro B-roll, tripod setup, close-ups, and POVs, so that when it is editing time, I know exactly where to look. If you want to be more intentional, pull up your script right next to the timeline. I like to have my script on one side and a list of the B-roll I imagined on the other side. That way you can match visuals to lines as you go, like putting in a tripod setup shot when I talk about being a solo operator. You can also add a close-up of the camera when I mention framing, and so on. In Resolve, you can preview a clip, hit I and O on your keyboard to set in and out points, and then drag only the video into your timeline. Do that for each clip you want and roughly place them where they belong. Do not worry about getting perfect timing right now because you will refine it later during playback. A common panic is realizing you did not film enough B-roll and the edit feels flat. Two quick fixes exist for this. One, stock footage libraries like Storyblocks are great for filler like drone shots, cityscapes, or generic B-roll. However, those can sometimes get pricey or feel a bit generic if you use them too much. Two, and this is where I want to talk about Vizard. If you have a long video and want to repurpose it into bite-sized promos or reels, Vizard can automatically find the most engaging moments and create clips for you. It is not a magic bullet for cinematic B-roll, but it solves a completely different problem of turning long-form material into snackable content without you having to manually chop it up. With all your clips placed, play back the timeline and trim to match what you are actually saying. For example, I like the visual to appear exactly when I mention the object on screen. If I say filming for your YouTube videos can be a challenge, maybe I want a tripod setup to show up right on the word challenge and then cut to a close-up the exact moment I say camera operator. This is where the feel becomes important, as sometimes you will trim a clip to start mid-action to create momentum. Catching movement already in progress often reads much smoother than starting at a pause. A couple of concrete timing tips. Aim for B-roll clips to be roughly 2 to 5 seconds each. Shorter than 2 seconds can feel jittery, while longer than 5 seconds risks boredom. Do not be afraid to use clips filmed at higher frame rates, like 60 frames per second, to create brief slow motion moments. They pause the beat nicely and feel quite cinematic. I often change clip speed to 50% for those satisfying slow motion moments. Even tripod shots can feel dynamic if you add subtle movement in post-production. In Resolve, open the inspector, slightly zoom in so you have room to shift, then keyframe the position from left to right over the length of the clip. Make sure the keyframes are placed exactly at the start and end so the movement is smooth and not abrupt. This faux pan makes a static shot feel like it was filmed with a slider and adds production value without needing extra gear. Match cuts are another great glue trick. If you have a wide shot of you reaching to sip coffee and a close-up of the sip, cut on the motion so the hand position lines up. If you cut at a different moment, the viewer will notice and the action will feel disjointed. So pause the playback the frame before the movement starts, find that same hand position in the close-up, and cut there for a seamless result. Now, editing B-roll to music is really fun for montages or transitions. Drop your music track in, play it, and tap M on the beat to drop markers. I try to line some cuts to those markers for a satisfying audiovisual sync. Resolve will snap clips to markers, which makes rhythmic edits really fast. But do not go overboard, because if every cut is on the beat, it gets obvious and tiresome. Mix beat-synced cuts with action-based cuts so the sequence feels lively but not mechanical. Also, long clips that span multiple beats can create a nice contrast with quick, on-beat cuts. A few stylistic guidelines I follow include showing movement in mid-action rather than the awkward pause before it. Keep most B-roll between 2 to 5 seconds, add subtle motion to tripod shots, and match your cuts to actions. These are simple rules, but they will take your B-roll from amateur to intentionally produced. Okay, let's talk more about tools and workflow empathy. You can absolutely do all of this in Resolve for free, but for creators juggling long-form uploads, repurposing, and social consistency, that is where automation truly helps. Vizard picks viral moments from long videos and turns them into ready-to-post clips, which is killer if you are trying to maintain a steady stream of content. Rather than manually scrubbing hours of footage to find sound bites or punchlines, Vizard surfaces the highlights. It also lets you schedule those clips automatically. Set your posting frequency, and the platform will push content out on the cadence you want. Plus, the content calendar is a real time saver for managing, tweaking, and publishing clips to multiple platforms all in one place. Why not just use a stock service or do it all manually? Stock clips are great for filler, but they do not replace authentic moments from your own footage, and they can also get expensive. Doing everything manually gives you full creative control, but it eats up time, which is the scarcest resource for a solo creator. Some other automation tools only do one thing well, but Vizard works like a small team member to help you focus on the long-form content that matters. I am not saying this replaces good editing taste, as you still need to make decisions about pacing and story. What Vizard does is remove the grunt work of hunting for clips so you can iterate faster. If you are just getting started, try practicing these basics. Edit your A-roll tightly, organize your B-roll, set crisp in and out points, and aim for those 2 to 5 second chunks. Add motion to static shots, match cuts to action, and use music markers for montages, but do not overdo the on-beat cuts. If you want to scale and repurpose your content without spending hours every week, give a tool like Vizard a spin. It is especially handy if you are posting multiple times a week and need a reliable pipeline. If you like this breakdown and want more workflow tips, tell me in the comments. But whatever route you take, the fundamentals above will make your B-roll feel intentional, cinematic, and actually helpful to your story. Thanks for watching, and if you have specific questions about a shot, a beat, or a content calendar, drop them below. Keep filming, keep experimenting, and I will see you in the next video.